Hello, I'm Isabellen, and this is Isabellen's Stories, where I'm reading aloud my current work in progress. It's a very imperfect production, and I'm a very imperfect person and writer, but I like to share it with you because it helps me become a better writer as I read out loud with intent. It seems like when I do it myself alone, it just doesn't, I don't catch as much stuff. And also, I love to get feedback, and I'd love to get your involvement on this story in particular. Blue Blood is a choose what happens next smut story, and you can become involved. So I will have all those details at the end of this chapter, which is chapter 4, Blue Blood. You're going to hear some clicking in the background as I use my trusty dusty mouse to highlight sections that I don't like how they are written, or any other kind of ambient noise, or is ambient the right word? Am I saying that word right? Background noise from where I'm recording, which is in my bedroom. Yes, you are getting this live from my bedroom. Well, not live, recorded from my bedroom. I don't know. Anyways, here we go. Blue Blood, Chapter 4. I'd give my right arm for coffee and sugar. I'm convinced that blue bloods only mimic human emotions when in truth, even the sweetest, most mundane and safe among them is a sociopath without an ounce of true feeling. Well, that can be a problem. Holding the basket in one hand and making it look light, Kalen ate his oatcake with the other. He could chomp that thing down in 3 bites, I knew, but instead he nibbled. Slow, watching me. "How do you intend to pay it back, dearie?" Mrs. P asked. I had no clue. She knew I had no clue. Why was she asking me this now? I looked from her back to Kalen Rise. Was she going to offer my liver to him if I couldn't pay her? "You are a creative human, yes?" She tapped my hand. That was a reference to my attempts at drawing, I think. She'd seen me with my little art journal and pencils out. I'd explained human art and creativity in doodles to her. "Do you want a drawing?" I asked. "Do you draw, love? Are you a budding human artist?" Kalen wanted to know. Mrs. P made a noise in her throat that suggested she thought I was a poor artist, if anything, before bouncing her shoulders and waddling off to the back room like she'd forgotten something. I wanted to follow, but one didn't turn one's back on a blue blood, even if he didn't consider me a worthy snack. "If you can no longer stay here at the Red House, I'm sure Kinoshita will offer you shelter," he said, unhelpfully. "This isn't the only Red House." I tried not to sound defensive, and squared my shoulders to look strong and independent. He raised an eyebrow at me. Mrs. P's place was indeed the only Red House I knew of here in the swamp. A refuge promising safety for humans, it was a spot I felt secure enough to close my eyes at night. There was a witch lock on the door, keyed to my hand, that opened for me, just me, as long as I paid the rent. I hoped my father would have a hard time reaching me here, though I'd rather be on the other side of the world in one of those safe human-only colonies in old Russia. The lack of good ley lines and ancient dizziness of this place might deter Dad if he tried to force me back. Sorcerers didn't like water, humidity that warped their spell chemistry. "You could move to one of the human colonies," he said, as if he'd plucked the thought from my head. "What does it matter to you?" I didn't have any skills to trade there, either. Humans living in these times, in this area, had learned that kindness and generosity had got their children stolen from their beds by changelings. With no family to speak of for me, and no local red blood friends, and a belly full of book learning about blue bloods and magic, I was nothing to them but a woman who took up space. "Well, dearie," Mrs. P returned from the back with a second basket, pulling out her step stool before setting it on the counter next to me. I hold out my hands lamely. "Mrs. Piddle Hinton, isn't there something I could do for you around here? I know I'm not good with the baking, but I'm not completely useless. Just waiting for you to offer. She patted the fat basket. Do you want me to clean out the cold storage? I asked hopefully. Kalen's off to Baytown with the fisherman's order. You'll go with him, won't you? Help with the deliveries? You know how those humans in Baytown are, yes? They send someone to me with an order and never stick around to pick it up. Then, when I send my boy here, they shoot arrow crossbolts at him. She speaks as if I didn't just offer to do a reasonably difficult job. Why wouldn't they shoot at me, too? Oh, you're their kind. Why would they shoot at you? Her hairy eyebrows climb into her hairline, as if my question was both outrageous and unthinkable. Mrs. Pendleton, the Angeline fishermen shoot at everyone. It was a well-known fact. As humans living in the swamp since the days of the Louisiana Purchase, long before Apocalypse Day, they were suspicious alligator-eating survivors. Their own local hag, the seventh daughter of the seventh daughter of the seventh daughter, had warned them with what would happen in 1999, and they had been more prepared than any humans I had ever met, with a stockpile set to last them 100 years. They had all kinds of weapons, iron and rock salt to ward off blue bloods, coffee and sugar to trade. In a world where coffee and sugar were more valuable now than gold, Mrs. P went out of her way to show them how she could spin that gold into addictively delicious treats. They'd shoot at me just as like they'd shoot at every stranger. Not a pretty red blood like you, dearie, I'm sure of it. Might do you good to stretch your legs and earn a bit of favor. She grins until I can count her sharp little teeth, like this is the best idea she's ever had, which makes me think she's been thinking of it all along. How about I go with Thomas next time he is here? I like that idea much better. I didn't know how old the Griffin was, but he gave off fatherly vibes and was much too honorable to mess with me the way Callan would. You make him sneeze, Mrs. P said flatly. Callan laughed. I forced myself not to look at his too beautiful face. He had a jaw that belonged to an old-fashioned magazine and a body that even a vampire of Hyde would envy. To make deliveries with him, I would have to keep pace with his long legs, or worse, ride on his back in horse form. I'm no good at deliveries. I'll just slow him down. Drooping my shoulders, I offered helpless hand gestures and tried to look very pathetic. You? How could you slow me down? Killen scoffed. I'm too heavy for you. I managed to say it with a straight face. Nonsense. If the man can lift a warrior 5 times your weight and pull a boulder from a bog, you are fine. You are able-bodied and smart enough. I'm reasonably sure it will be safe. And the rent is due. Midnight tonight. I start, but Kalen's low, rolling burr cuts me off. You have to pay your rent, and I need a helping hand. He popped the last bite of oatcake into his mouth. Why was he so happy about this? He didn't like me. Unless my human liver was going to smell good, and he was... Why was he so happy about this? He didn't like me, unless my human liver was starting to smell good, and he was planning to dump me in the water, drown me, and eat it. Mrs. P pushed the second basket at me and pointed to Callan. His long legs had him at the door, ready to leave. Heat crawled up my neck, prickling under my skin. I wanted to tell him to shove it, but my options were few. Mrs. P's held bright speculation, waiting for my decision. I'm not riding you. I went to pick up the basket and grunted, using both hands. It had to weigh 60 pounds or more. Of course you are. Now go and have fun. Be back by midnight. Mrs. P waggled her eyebrows like she was sending me on a human date, some prom night fairy tale I'd heard about, as if leaving her bakery and the Red House's protections didn't make me a target for every predator and blue blood in the swamp. And that is the end of chapter 4, Blue Blood. And yes, I made about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In that short piece, I made about 5 edits where I need to go back and edit them out and fix it. So it does really a lot to help me read this out loud to you with intention, because when I do it with to myself, I still miss stuff. And there's probably stuff in here that some editor down the road is going to find. Oh, the quest to find the perfect editor. I would love that so much. So how are you? This is Blue Blood. I hope you've been reading along. We're on chapter 4. I've been getting some downloads, so hey to the 5 people who've been following this story. High 5! So glad you're here. I wanted to let you know that that thing that I've been talking about doing is live. That's right, it is live. So I'm going to need you just to go and check it out. Okay, could you do that? Could you just check it out for me and see what you think and come back with feedback? It's a very simple page where you can go to the Apocalypse Keys page and key in a deviation. Ha! You can change Margot's name. I know, right? A main character name and a vote to change Margot's name. If enough people vote, if I get, say, more than, 2 votes, 3 votes to change your name, it's $1.75 for a key deviation like that. There are a few other little things. Do you want me to read it for you? Maybe I'll go through it with you. Do you want me to go through it with you? Okay. Yes, that's a vote of confidence. Yes, you do want me to go through it with you? Actually, I'm not sure I can, because I don't know if I have a link or if the link is active. Why don't I check? I'm going to use my phone. And so this page has been developed by a company, a small, very startup company that's by one person called Crowdsource. This person is not in the U.S., and it's kind of tricky. So I do have a contract, but again, it's not a U.S. company. And if they, I don't know that I can. It's a trust issue, right? So we're going to trust. We're going to see how this works. He needs to test the platform, and it's exactly what I need for this story. And I think if we use it, if we interact, it could be such an incredible blast. So fun. So I wanted a way for non-subscribers to interact one time. So if you are a subscriber already and you subscribe to one of my upper tiers, like a tier where you're paying more than $5, and you want to make some kind of change, you need to message me directly to this story. If you want to make a change or influence this story in a certain way, comment or message me directly. Okay? I don't need people who are already paying $15 a month or more to come and key in a deviation. That's what I'm calling it. I'm calling these key deviations for the Apocalypse Keys series, where anything can happen. Okay, so you're going to hear some clicking as I open Windows and get to what I need to get to. Is that opening for me? Is it going to log in for me easy peasy? No, of course not. Of course not. I've logged in already. I'm on a different laptop. It's an older kind of laptop. I don't know if I told you guys, but my beloved Samsung notebook, 360 notebook, I never actually used the notebook part, but I loved having it. I'm kind of techie collector that way. Anyways, my beloved notebook, it collapsed on me, and it cracked. The screen cracked, which apparently was a known issue that I didn't know about. So, yeah, what are we doing? I was telling you about this page, Crowdsource. Let me find it. Let me just go to my phone rather than Crowdweave. Did I say Crowdsource? People, don't pay any attention to anything I say ever. Crowdweave. And I'll have a link I'll have a link for this. So it takes you to Crowdweave. You'll see Blue Blood is Llewellyn and a big giant key. At the top of the page are links to Ream and Substack. Ream is where I'm writing the story and where people subscribe to my group. I don't have subscription set up on Substack. It says, let's write a story together. I'm writing Blue Blood, an Apocalypse Keeves novel, chapter by chapter on Ream, and out loud on Isawelan's Story Club on Substack. Subscribers read first and vote to choose what happens next, but now everyone can join the fun with a one-time interaction. And those one-time interactions can include votes. You can key in a deviation with $1.75 per vote. Remember how I talked about PayPal and how they take off the top? So I do pay for this page. It's I think I get 80% of the proceeds, and they cover that PayPal charge, but 80% of $1 isn't as much as you might think it is. So it's $1.75 per vote. But you can vote to change Margot's name, Lisa's name, or Kinoshida's name. These are all names that I picked out of a hat. I'm not married to them. Margot is one I'm trying to get used to because I wanted something that was a little different than my normal names, but I don't love it. I don't know if you've noticed, but I have a tendency to end names with an sound and with an a sound, and I like Sasha, Naya. Are you hearing me here? Sophie was different. That was a great name. I love the name Sophie. But I was trying to pick a different name, but I don't love Margot. And you can vote and change the name. If you put any vote, so if you say yes, if 3 people say yes, let's rename Margot, or 3 people say no, absolutely not, I'm going to listen to those votes. Now, if you say yes, I'm going to pick the name, but you have to help me. I will do that in the sub club. It'll be within the chapters and the email that I send you, and we will vote there and decide there and interact there how to change, what the change. You can make suggestions, you can comment. All that will be free, and we'll work together. Because I don't know how many people are even going to agree to this. Maybe it's only going to be one person who feels passionately that Margot's name should be changed to something else. Maybe it'll be 2 people that feel passionately that I should leave everything alone and not mess with the names you've already gotten used to them. But I want to hear what you think. I care about it. I'm not married to these names, and I don't love them. Kinoshita, I'm getting used to. But I'm not married to it. The next one is vote for future plot twists. This is $1.75 per vote. A new minor character appears. A current minor character appears. Dramatic weather change. Now these kind of characters, these are very minor characters appearing, but they might throw a wrench and change the plot, or they can make things happen. I'm going to limit this to about a 500-word change, and if we love it, it could become a whole new deviation to the story. You could introduce a new love interest. You could introduce a new antagonist. You could introduce a new creature. One thing I loved about writing Claiming Starlight was all the fun creatures. Remember the gnomes and the carpenter gnomes? I love them. And the troll and the troll taxis. I love all that crap. So we could introduce new creatures, and anything could happen, but you need to vote for that and let me know that, hey, I am into this. I want to build this story with you. And if you have a specific creature, what do? You come and comment. You comment on the story that I'm writing on Ream after you voted, and let me know. I'm pretty sure that this will collect emails so I can connect with you. I know who's doing what. It goes up. Limited availability. Add some sexual tension. I'll write a 500-word scene between characters I choose that ups the spice level. I get to choose that one. That's the one that's most comfortable for me. It's $5 to pay for that. It's limited availability because I can't be writing 100 of those and trying to write a story and mucking up the mess. But if you come and you buy that, I'll put a spice scene in now between somebody. I have an idea of what couple or who or how that would work out, and it doesn't have to be it's an up the sensual tension. I don't know, you guys have read my books, you know that my spice scenes tend to be 2,000 words or more. 500 words is just going to be like something like an almost kiss, or like a a he wants me, she wants him, or a, something sexy, but just light spice. We're not going, there's no, probably not penetration. Okay, so 500 words, me penetrate. I can't write any kind of penetration in less than 5,000. No, I'm joking. Up the stakes. Add some danger for Margot. I'll write a 500-word plus scene that puts Margot in a difficult predicament. $5. Pay now. $10. Add a new character who brings good to Margot's life. Now, this is a little bit like the cheaper one. A minor character appears, but this $10 character gets a whole chapter. Okay, and you get to design the character, the name, red blood or a blue blood, body type, gender. Your character will get at least one full 1,500-word chapter or more. This is a major deviation to the story. Maybe you want to do this. Maybe you don't want to do this. Maybe you want just me to write a chapter for you in this world that puts Margot could go to tea with somebody. One thing I have trouble with that people always tell me they want more of a slice of life scene. This would be a slice of life scene with Margot or one of the other characters in the story that already exist, and something where they're together and I just get to go crazy on descriptions and world building and character descriptions and great moments. That's the protagonist. There's also an antagonist. Add a character who makes Margot's life difficult, an antagonist, and you get to choose what kind of character you want that to be. At the very bottom, for $15, get a 1,500-word custom spicy scene. You pick who with. Now, all of these are at my discretion as to when they appear. They will appear within at least a month of when you order them, but it depends on where I'm in the book, because I want you to know that even though I might have offshoots of this book, key deviations, I mentioned on my ream that it is possible this story could go to a Why Choose story, which I have never written and never intended to write, but you could choose to help. We could go that direction. It could end up that way. Or it could be a love triangle. I could tighten up the love triangle, really make it a serious thing. Or it could be, we could go anywhere with this, people. So the custom spice is characters you choose, and I'll write a spice scene. And if I like it, if it fits, it'll be incorporated fully into the story. And all of this stuff, everything I've mentioned, will be published on my ream for my subscribers who are my club sub club subscribers, and eventually it will be free for everyone. It could be wild. It could be amazing. It could be crazy. It could just go off the rockers and be really terrible too, which is why I will always have the main threads of the story. And then within that story, I will name the chapters what they are. They will all be key deviation chapters. I'm not going to open another book because it kind of makes it confusing. Maybe if I have to, I don't know. What do you think? What do you think? Do you think for the key deviations I should have another book and then just link it in the main story? Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. I never thought about it that way. But the choose what happens next, questions at the end of the chapters that sub-club members buy, all of that is going to be in one book. Okay, the dog is barking. He wants in. I let him, we walked this morning and he was so good. And then he's like, I want to stay outside. And so I chained him up because we don't have a fence yet where we are. And now I hear him barking, which means either I want to go play with some people or I want to come in. So I need to let him go. What do you think? The link for this, for the key deviations, is, I will link it in the description for sure. It's crowdweave.com/blueblood. You can also find all this information, most of this information, some of this information. Anyways, you can find buttons on my website, www.isabellyn.com. That will take you to this page also. If you can't remember Crowdweave or don't find the link or have troubles, isabellyn.com. It's pretty easy. Sometimes I have to do the www though. I don't know why, but it's there. I just posted it, updated, created my own little buttons that take you right to the site, which I'm very proud of. It's some HTML coding there. I had to cut and paste in, and so I'm excited about this. Are you excited? Are you going to do this with me? I'm sorry I have to make you know, just something in me wants to apologize for money. But listen, everything takes time. The words take time. The words don't just come out of the air. This is my job, and this is how I get paid for get my rent paid. So I'm going to try and not feel guilty or pressured or hear in my head it's a money grab. Yes, people, it's a money grab. I need to eat, and I want to give you my words. But I hear that. I want you to know I'm very conscientious every time I start to do something and don't finish. And I know there's other projects I have. Like, if you are waiting for the 12 sector stories, those are going to come. But I'm getting my old work, my 12 sector stories, everything put fully in my name. I'm no longer going to be under a publisher, and that takes time, and it's taking a lot of time. And I don't want to put the new 12 sector story out. Actually, I can't until Isawellen, my name, is owned completely by me, and there's no confusion there. So that's kind of holding things up. Also, there's a final edit I want to go through. So it's causing a bit of trouble. Let me just tell you. I thank you so much listening. Did you guys read I So Dark? Did you read The Commander? The Commander was also a Choose What Happens Next story. I had to rewrite a lot of it. Writing it this way makes the editing process really hard because, believe it or not, plot holes do develop. That's okay. I think I'm in it for the win, people, for Blue Blood. I think it can go, will it be one of those stories that go on for years? Who knows? But we are writing it here together on Ream, probably on Inkit as well, and on Substack, where I am recording and sharing out. If you are listening to my voice on Spotify, on Audible, on any other place, I love you. Thank you so much. If you want to come over to Substack and poke around a little bit or click some like buttons or subscribe buttons, that would just make my day. I appreciate you. I got to get the dog. Have a great day.